leverage your presence as a producing sales manager to your team. So in other words, you're competing with your team. So if your team is sitting and grinding, you're with them. And that's the absolute greatest advantage because most sales managers don't produce with their team.
I would say my biggest struggle, knowing that I suck at being a manager, like knowing that I struggle with building the people up that are underneath me, like taking the time out of my day to spend time with them to build their skills up. And, it's like I could spend 30 minutes in the morning working on material, or I could be working on leads, generating deals.
My takeaway is that number one is I appreciate the support you give to the channel. Thank you for that. Number two is when you lead somebody and you're a producing sales manager, that's what I do. I have a team of 20 plus LOs on top of mine. So I'm managing 20 different pipelines. Average pipeline's about 75 to 100 right now. So that's a lot of deals. So when customer service issues erupt, obviously I'm pulled in, right? So there's a lot of things that's pulling at my attention, but I built a team that competed with each other while at the same time I understood what level they're on. So I communicated with them as necessary. So if you're speaking to someone young and they're just trying to buy their first house versus speaking to somebody who's 56 and talking about retirement is a different conversation, and you need to understand that. And then number two is leverage your presence as a producing sales manager to your team. So in other words, you're competing with your team. So if your team is sitting and grinding, you're with them. And that's the absolute greatest advantage because most sales managers don't produce with their team. I do, and I'm calling them out. So if I get a couple locks, I get a couple deals, I'm calling them out. I'm like, hey, I got more points than all of you. Where you at? Are you here for the base pay? You here for the hourly, bro? Get out of here, log out. So that's something that you could do. But you have a good opportunity to build your team. And what I would do is build 3 mini-me's just because you have a small team and you can give them more time than if you had a team of 20 plus. So if you could build 3 mini-U's, right? That looks at the business, runs their business like you. Then what happens is now you can approach the owner or whoever's the next level up to say, hey, give me another 8 agents. Now you build teams. Because these 3 people operate, think, and hustle like you.